And welcome, everyone. Yeah.
We'll wait a couple minutes. I see. Oh, well, they're not. Yeah. Well, everyone's coming. Okay.
All right.
It's still frenzy.
Stand close together. Yeah. Welcome, everyone.
Welcome, welcome. Thank you, everyone, for coming out tonight. I know you could have been other places, but you're here with us, so thank you. We're going to get started. So thank you all for coming to our first ever South LA Founders Gathering. Everybody give yourself a round of applause. If you're here, I'm sure you did the work, put in the work. I am Marisa Johnson. I'm co-founder of Law Create Space. This is my husband, Terell, my co-founder, however it goes. If you haven't been here, Law Create Space is a co-working community space. We do productions, events, as you can see here, meeting spaces. What else do we do?
We support the community and support entrepreneurs and local businesses.
We should have a 20-second speech, but you know.
We worked on that. She went off the car cue.
Yeah, well, Terell, we are thrilled to be your host tonight. We are one of the 20 incredible Black and Latin-owned X companies selected for this year's cohort of the Pledge LA Founders Fund. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
So tonight is a truly special event. As each of you enjoy each and every part of this experience, just know that it was purposely curated for Black and Latinx businesses. Many of them are located here in South LA. And so... So you're standing here in front of Law Create Space, as Marisa mentioned, and you just enjoyed food from 2 food trucks from On The Go LA, who was a part of our cohort, and the incredible food from Burrito Break and Sabara Belizean cuisine. So let's give it up for the food. Let's give it up for the chefs. They're feeding us tonight. So at the bar, you've also enjoyed, Pretty of the Beer from South LA Beverage Company and Spirits from Loft and Bear. And later on, each of you will take home a special surprise from Coffee Del Mundo, Rye Fresh, Skin Muse, and the Rep Club, part of my cohort. So yeah, it's gonna be some good gifts in those bags. So let's hear it for these incredible companies creating an opportunity in our community, because that's really what it's about. And now to kick things off, I'd like to invite a special guest, Cindy Kennard, Executive Director of Annenberg Foundation, to take the stage. Thank you all.
Congratulations on your wonderful place. Yeah, thanks for having us. It's great. It's great. So, first of all, can we just say to each other, how good is it to be in person with each other? I just am so happy to be out and about and able to hug people and sort of say, boy, could the worst be behind us. Please, will the worst be behind us. The second thing I just want to say really quickly is, so we had a plan tonight, and as things go, sometimes things fall in and out of plans. And I was thinking to myself as I was coming over here tonight, really, what else in life matters than lifting each other up? What else? And who cares who's there to see it or do it, right? We just need to be doing it for each other. So I just want to congratulate, first of all, our South LA founders for your tireless hard work, for your dedication, for your enthusiasm when you were just cheering each other on, which is so cool. And this is what community is all about in Los Angeles. This is what this community should be and is all about. We love this. So the Annenberg Foundation, as you know, I would hope, is one of the leading philanthropic organizations in our city. And our chairman, Wallace Annenberg, who I just met with yesterday, and I was telling her about this group, and she was just so enthused and excited to make sure that we continue to do this, that this is the work that really counts. This is what speaks to who we are in the heart and soul of the Annenberg Foundation. Supporting each other, lifting each other up, not just one segment of the community, but across all communities. That's what's important. We know that this innovative and powerful model that we did, providing equity-free capital to outstanding entrepreneurs, was uncommon last summer, and how far we've come, because guess what? Now it's been replicated nationally. And we can say we were groundbreakers, guys, together, guys and gals. We were groundbreakers. We were the pathfinders on this, and we're really proud of that. We know how important it is to support communities of color and to change that old model and to make sure we're bringing this all forward. And we're going to keep doing it. We're going to replicate it. We're going to bolster it in the next go-around. Before we start our program where we're going to celebrate the great success of these tireless founders, I want to say thank you to a few people. I get to stand up here sometimes and be the face of the Annenberg Foundation, but I don't know whether any of you are sports fans, but I listened to Brady the other night on TV after the Bucks game when he got beat in that stadium right over there. And I actually was there. But anyway, one thing he kept talking about was team, and that nobody can do this alone. And you founders know that you may think you're pretty smart and wonderful and everything, but you cannot do this alone without a team. And that is the greatness of the Annenberg Foundation, that we have this incredible cross-cultural team in place. And so I'm looking at Allison Holmes, who's the Senior Director of Operations for the Foundation, who has taken this program and really run with it. I'm looking at Calvin Self. Would you please stand up and please take a bow? Please. Where is Celeste? Celeste, where are you? There you are back there. There's Celeste Shields, who's part of the team. Guys, these guys put everything they have into this. You know you do. That's my team. Great team. Philip, where are you? Philip Patino, who's actually come aboard as an intern and has just been the star of the show for all of us. So I don't know. He's here somewhere. But that's the Annenberg Tech team, and I'm so proud of them. Mickey Reynolds is here tonight. Carolyn and Elizabeth from the Grid 110 team. Can you stand up, please? Please. Just stand up and take a bow. Yeah, really. Right? The trainers. I mean, what do we do without that to sort of bring it all together? Austin Clements has been with us from day one at Slauson, and we just are so proud to finally be able to work with you even closer on this project, on Pledge LA, on Annenberg Tech, but also we're working with Austin on some financial linkages between the foundation and his business. This is huge for the Annenberg Foundation. Austin, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you. Really, thank you. And another person that has been with us since day one, who is a superstar in the Los Angeles community, is Beatrice Acevedo, who is just a groundbreaker, a pathfinder, and you are full of courage. Absolutely full of courage. You're bold and you're wonderful, and this community could not do without you. Kiana Patterson is also here. Where are you, Kiana? There you are. There you are. You were saying hello to me, and thanks for being such a great part of the Annenberg universe and working with this great project. Aria Saffer, where are you? Where are you? Where are you? There you are back there. Thank you, thank you. Another person with us long on this journey is Jason Crockett. Jason, thank you, and thank you for stepping up tonight for us. I know you're here. So these are all people that have stepped up to support this cohort, and we are so, so grateful to you. We appreciate it. So now I get to welcome. By the way, I tried the beer. Oh, my God. Where is that person with that hoppy beer? Well done. Well done. Well done. Stand up. Really, really nice. I'm bringing one home to my husband. He loves that kind of beer. But I've got to welcome right now one of the entrepreneurs from South LA, from the cohort, John Kennard, CEO of Coffee del Mundo. I can't wait to taste it. Come on up here. I like your last name.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Cindy Kennard of No Relation. All right, good evening, y'all. My name is John Kennard of Coffee del Mundo, and it's definitely incredible to be here tonight to celebrate all of our hard work that we've done over these past 9 months since our cohort was launched back in January of 2021. And so next, I would like to say that the program was created by the Annenberg Tech Foundation and Pledge LA in order to help entrepreneurs of color here in our community. And I got to say that not only for my personal experience, it's definitely been life-changing for myself, but also for our community. And so Annenberg Tech and Pledge LA were able to raise $500,000 in equity-free funding for 20 companies, and they were aiming to generate 5 times the economic impact in follow-on capital, raised, jobs created, and increased revenue. So how do we do? I'm sure you all want to know. To date, our cohort has raised more than $3.3 million in on-follow capital. We've created more than 30 jobs here in the city, 14 of which are full-time. And 53% of our cohort today has increased recurring revenue. So y'all give yourselves a pat on the back. Now, beyond these amazing metrics, of course, we still have some more metrics and things we would like to share. Some of the things we were able to win, not only as a cohort, but also as individuals, I'd like to shout out Shiloh Johnson of Compliant, was accepted into Techstars LA cohort. So where's Shiloh at? Okay, we're with her in spirit. And then we also have, as you all seen back there, those amazing blue trucks, but the guys running those things, Mr. Gabriel Gomez and Enrique Loyola, raised $100,000 for their 2050 LA campaign. And of course, last but not least, one of my now dear friends, thanks to this cohort, was able to raise a $50,000 grant from Glossier, Miss Ezine Adeoye. So as you can see, y'all, we're really happy, we're really excited, but most of all, we're extremely grateful because the world was going in chaos, but at the end of the day, people were thinking about us, and they were able to give us this opportunity. So, without further ado, our impact, you're starting to feel it now, but at the end of the day, it will be lasting and even greater than we ever imagined. And so now I have the pleasure to introduce one of the guys who's been here since the beginning and is just a phenomenal person. You all know, give it up for Mr. Calvin.
Thank you so much, John. Well, I have a brief role because I'm going to invite some others to come on the stage in just a moment. I now want to welcome a very special guest who is the fund chair of the Founders Fund, Mr. Jason Crockett. He has helped us form Pledge LA almost 3 years ago in 2018. Please welcome Jason to the stage for an important conversation about access to entrepreneurship in our great city. And I'll call some others to join Jason. Joining Jason for this conversation is another incredible Pledge leader, Beatriz Acevedo, CEO and co-founder of Suma Wealth and president of the Acevedo Foundation, which helped us with all of the stipends for this program. Thank you so much. Also, we have 3 of our South LA founder alumni, Gabriel Gomez and Enrique Loyola of On The Go LA, and Ezine Iroanya Adeoye of Skin Muse. So all join us on the stage for a wonderful fireside chat. Welcome.
All right. So before I jump into these nice words that Calvin wrote for me, I just want to say, just off the cuff, like I was there from the beginning. All right. So Allison came and Cindy came to the mayor's office where I worked at the time and said, we have this idea. We want to do something different and impactful to help improve diversity and equity within the tech community. And we think we can get some VCs along, and we think that they can bring some companies along, and we think this will be different from anything that's happening out there. And if you think back to 2018, everyone had a pledge, or they had something for people to sign. And they said, what's going to make this different is we're going to resource this to make sure that we can hold people accountable, that we don't just ask people to sign a pledge, but that we actually create the resources and the capacity that they need to truly pursue diversity, equity, and inclusion within leading and growing tech industries. And honestly, we looked at them and said, okay, I don't know what exact, but okay, let's go down this path with you. Let's figure this out together. In my wildest dreams, I would not have imagined that we would be here 3 years later with a mayor who helped lead this, actually leaving the city, and this will live on well beyond him. Well beyond him. And that is because of the success of the companies and the partners that we've brought into this initiative, but it's also very much because of the commitment that Annenberg has made to this program. So I just want to reiterate again, thank you, Annenberg Foundation, for following through on your vision. It was very ambitious at the time, and it still remains ambitious, and I hope we continue to be ambitious as we build this out for the next generation. So thank you, Annenberg Foundation. As Calvin mentioned, my name is Jason Crockett, and I'm very excited to be here tonight to host this mini fireside chat about access to entrepreneurship. When we helped to found Pledge LA 3 years ago, we knew that LA could chart a different course from other cities when it came to providing access and opportunity. As one of the most diverse counties in the nation, diversity of perspective is part of our DNA. But as we all know, it takes hard work to address systemic barriers to access to good jobs, access to networks, and access to capital. As we all work to recover from the devastation of this pandemic, economic and beyond, bold initiatives like this are at the heart of rebuilding and doing things differently. Annenberg Tech and Pledge LA are leading the charge for greater equity and ensuring the region is held accountable to realizing it. Tonight we're going to talk about the progress we've made and the work yet to come. So we'll go ahead and jump in. And I'm going to open up with a question to my friend B. You helped found Pledge LA in 2018. So what has happened in these past 3 years, both in business as well as in the broader community? And in your view, how has Pledge LA's work impacted the LA tech ecosystem? And what progress have we seen?
Is that it?
That's it.
I got no notes from Calvin, but I made my own. I think the best thing is that we knew where we stand, right? 3 years ago, we knew we had to do better. We wanted to do better, but there was no real measure of where we were as an ecosystem in Los Angeles. And you cannot improve what you cannot measure. So I think the first thing that was incredible was to have that baseline, those measurements of where we are and what are our aspirations of where we want to go. So I think that was incredible progress, and we continue to make great strides. I'll read some data from my friend Jasmine Hill here. The second thing is that when we did a lot of brainstorming meetings on what our mission and our vision was going to be for Pledge LA, one part of our vision was that this could be replicated in other states, in other cities, in other countries. And we are very excited to see that some VCs in the city now are hosting their own internships. There's access to non-dilutive capital from other nonprofits and VCs. So we love that. We love that vision of being a model for others is being played out. And I think the last one is that, there's an open conversation now of who gets access to early stage companies and what do cap tables look like. I don't think we ever thought about that. Even for myself in my own startup, in my first startup 7-8 years ago, I was just grateful for anybody who would give me capital. But now I'm very mindful of who is in my cap table, who gets that access, and how are we diversifying from the top, from your investors. So I think those are 3 very, very important things that we've had progress. And I do want to read some stats on the progress, but those I don't know by memory, and I don't want Jasmine, who's done such an incredible job talking about an OG of the program. She really started before me. I came to join her from the very beginning, and she's done all this incredible work with the research and all the data that we all use every single day. So thank you, Jasmine, for all the early work that you do and that you continue to do for Pledge LA. Thank you, Amira. Okay, here's the State of the Union for any of you who have not read the report, but I'm sure everybody has read the report. So on the good news, Pledge LA VCs increased investment 71% for Black founders. That is amazing, right? Big round of applause. The increase from a year ago to now, for Black founders went, well, the 71% corresponds. It used to be 7%, and now it's a 12%. So very good, and we are very proud of that improvement. For Latinx founders, not so great, but improvement. We'll take it. We went from 6% to 8%. For women, it wasn't that extraordinary. We went from 18% to 19%. We know we are more than 19% in the city, so we definitely have a long way to go. And more work needs to be done when it comes to older demos, older founders like me that don't get a lot of the funding. We see that the tech ecosystem in our city is very, very young. So we need to pay attention to that. And then the pay gap. I mean, it is very depressing to see how women get paid about $90,000 less a year still in our tech ecosystem, and founders of color, Black and Latinx, and it's at that same rate of $90,000. So we've made very good improvements, but we still have a lot of work to do. And I think those are the things that we'll continue to focus on and to all commit our times and our effort on.
Yeah, and I know that Pledge LA is looking intently at building out programming to address pay inequity, which I'm very excited about. But that is really kind of the next evolution of our work. And without the data to justify that, we don't necessarily know what battle we're fighting. So thank you, B, for underpinning the importance of the data.
And the last thing is that we are still ahead 6 times the national average when it comes to investing in Black founders, and 8 times when it comes to investing in Latinx founders or Latin-E founders for my Latinos who don't like to be called Latinx, 8 times on the national average. So regardless, LA is tracking much better than the national average, and we should all feel incredibly proud of that.
That also points to the importance of taking this national, not just making this an LA initiative, but really bringing it to the broader national ecosystem. And I want to turn to Ezene now, if I can. The Founders Fund was created to support Black and Latinx founders, and Black women are one of the most undercapitalized and underfunded groups in our community. How has the program helped your business move toward and accelerate your growth? And what is your advice to investors that have been overlooking this part of our community?
Thank you. For my business personally, I mean, for a lot of founders of color, $25,000 can do a big thing. Not because it's $1 million, but because we know how to make the resources stretch. So when you bootstrap and you're doing it all by yourself and someone comes and believes in you and gives you a badge of honor, it gives you like a boost of morale, not just financially, but personally. So to measure in our business, we were able to build from a team of like 2 people to 5 people. We were able to invest our supply chain. You know, we were able to spread our reach, whereas now we have 11 wholesalers. When we first started before the program, I think we were like at 3. You can find us in DC, you can find us in Brooklyn, you can find us in downtown LA, you know, shelf space. And just also the community plug of I don't feel alone. As you just met one of my dearest friends, John. I use Coffee Del Mundo. I work out of there. So many people here whose businesses I've been so blessed to be in. The partnership, being a founder, or just building a company in general can be very lonely. It's a very, very lonely journey. So with this cohort, I was able to be plugged into people that looked like myself, had very similar experiences, and I could flourish from that. Now, for investors who are considering investing in this demographic, I think it has to have an honest conversation of why have you not invested into this community? There's not a pipeline problem. There's not an issue of is it going to be profitable? So many businesses here are profitable. You have to have that difficult conversation and reflect of maybe I should immerse myself a little bit more in that community. If you're meeting with a founder of color, meet with them in South LA. Meet with them at Coffee Del Mundo, at LA Create Space, you know? La Create Space. Immerse yourself in it, because it's very understandable where if you're not experiencing a problem, you can't come up with a solution, and that's natural. But however, when you say you want to do it, take actions to do it. Open up your calendar, reflect, why are we not looking in this market? What is the barrier for us? Is it lack of knowledge? You have so many people here that you can plug yourselves into, have a meeting with Kiana, have a meeting with Beatrice, have a meeting with Calvin, you know? And also when you do it, it's not charity for us. it's something that is well deserved. I was able to invest less than $1,000 into my business, and now we revenue over $10,000 a month, all bootstrapped. So when you think about, not just because we don't want the money, we want the money, we need the money, but we know how to do it when we don't have access to it. So imagine bringing that capital to people, a plethora of people like me. Fun Diggity just expanded into a new space. Coffee del Mundo was able to survive through a pandemic as a coffee shop and pivot into K-Cups. On the Go LA has, as you already can see right there, not only are they expanding, but they're giving other people avenues. The thing about our community is that when you invest in us, it doesn't just stop at us. The money spreads in a way that you don't see in other communities. So I'll stop there.
we got all that on video, right? Okay. I heard solid thumbs up. That's our B-roll right there. I mean, wow. That was incredible. We saw a lot of heads shaking in the audience. Thank you so much for your honesty. And you're absolutely right. This is not about charity. It is about investment, and it is earned. It is well-deserved, and these investments have returns. A lot of investors are leaving money on the table by ignoring black and brown communities, and it's time that they wake up. Gabriel and Enrique, I want to turn to you both now. On the Go LA is a business that empowers other entrepreneurs in the restaurant and culinary sector. Why did you choose to make that a focus area for your business, and what lessons have you learned from supporting them that are important for others to know, that others can benefit from?
Yeah, can you guys hear me? Okay, cool. I think, we started On the Go LA right in March of 2020, and it was right in the middle of the pandemic, right? And so I think for us, Enrique and I, having grown up in the South Central LA area, we used to frequent a lot of these local restaurants that we saw closing down, right? And especially in the food space, I think they seem to suffer like the most, especially at the beginning of the pandemic. They were trying to adjust to kind of the different circumstances, different conditions. So for us, we saw that as an opportunity to really kind of go in there, come in with an innovative solution. At first we didn't know what On the Go LA was going to become. It just kind of, we thought about, kind of food trucks and providing that access to local restaurants, those brick and mortars, and allowing our restaurateurs to just hop on and kind of get more mobile and bring the food to, the customers. Because at that time, everything was closing down, everyone was staying at home. So we wanted to provide that mobility to them. And I think, over time, we really kind of saw, the amount of access that we provided to a lot of these local restaurants, not even local restaurants, a lot of local chefs, a lot of local pop-ups, that LA is so full of, kind of restaurant concepts, a lot of food entrepreneurs just ready to kind of take the next step in their business. But that access to capital prevents them from, either getting a ghost kitchen or a shared kitchen or a brick and mortar, right? And so we really wanted to kind of lower that barrier to entry for a lot of them and really provide that access, especially in the communities of South LA and communities of color that really are struggling to kind of either, kind of formalize their business or take that next step. And that's where we kind of saw an opportunity to come in. There's a lack of innovation in the food space, and the majority of people in communities of color don't really kind of get the benefit from it either. So that's where we saw the chance to really come in and not just, kind of provide access, but really, provide an opportunity for them to kind of establish generational wealth in the long term, which is super important for us. We don't want, our clients to stay on our trucks forever. We want them to eventually get their own truck, brick and mortar location, but really we're just a stepping stone in the right direction. And I think, most importantly, what we've realized, we've helped more than 70 food entrepreneurs to date. And I think the most important thing is that every single one of them has such a unique story, right, to get to where they are today. For example, we have Burrito Break here today, right, and they have an awesome story. They have an awesome concept. We have Saraba as well. We have so many different unique cuisines that the people need to start kind of, hearing about and exploring. You see your franchises and things like that, those bigger restaurants and chains, but, these are the people that make up, our fabric of LA, so this is so important to us.
That's incredible. That's incredible. And thank you for the work that you're doing. I want to ask a question to our founders now, Ezene, Gabriel, and Enrique. How has being a part of the Founders Fund cohort made a difference for your companies as you raise capital and identify new customers? And what differences did being part of a group of entrepreneurs make on your success?
I can go first. So I would say, first of all, just being part of the whole Career 110 Pledge of LA community, I mean, you realize that as an entrepreneur, you feel alone, right? You know, especially being a person of color. You don't really have that access to capital, that access to knowledge and so forth. So at the end of the day, when you work with someone like Mickey or with Calvin, right, you get that sense of confidence that you could do whatever you want. You could do whatever you can achieve with your business, right? And that's even outside of the 25K, right? We're not even talking about the 25K there. So, you know, with that network there, I mean, I think for us with On The Go LA and with all of my fellow cohort members, we've been able to do tremendous things there, right? Having advisory hours, right, with our team, going through different aspects of our business there, and just talk to someone about, you know, your day-to-day lives, right? We're also human at the end of the day. I think that's the biggest. I think that's the most underrated thing, you know, as a founder, even being a founder of color, that no one talks about, right? So, you know, along with the 25K, right, as you mentioned, right, the $25,000, you're spreading the wealth to everyone else, right? You're spreading the wealth to our clients, you know, to different people who are involved with your business as well. And so, you know, I mean, it's such a tremendous opportunity and privilege just to be a part of this program and just to be an alum, right, of this program as well. So,
Anyone else? Feel free to jump in.
Oh, okay. They're doing ladies first. Okay. That's very good of you. I think for just everything he said, but also the networking. The fact that I can email you at any point in time and she will answer. And also, it's almost like giving her homework. It's like, oh, I need this, 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 and this. And she comes back with, you know, her resources is something that's so invaluable. The access. One thing, I'm an immigrant. I'm a black woman. When I came into this country, all the things that I know now, I didn't know then. So what they've been able to provide with us, aside from community and this beautiful, amazing group of founders that we all have like a group and everything, we talk to each other and we share. But in addition to that is, if I need something that last year I might not have had access to, I now have access to it. Even with the Grid 110 family, it's literally a Slack message away. So, and it's a safe space, whereas there's so much that I didn't understand building a business, you know. I can ask these questions without feeling stupid, for lack of a better word. I can ask, have a safe community to bring my grievance to whereas even as an immigrant, I'm experiencing different things that other founders of American descent might experience. I come to the Slack channel, they point me to the right direction. It's such a safety net that's a feel that regardless of how you're growing, whichever direction you take, there will be a support group for you to lead you through the way, with funding, with resources, with networks. Even when we do have our events or, you know, we're expanding, with expansion, they support us as well. So it's just been a blessing all in all. They've taken, just not looking at just giving them money, is just like, how can we support them to make sure this money that we've given them continues to multiply for years to come.
You have something you want to add? Go for it.
No, I think you know, they pretty much summed it up. But I think for us, or at least personally, I think, you know, it really, the program and mentors and everyone involved with the program really gave us the confidence to really go forth and not only raise more capital, but just, you know, continue our impact, right? They saw that we were building something special, and they really kind of put their faith in us to really move the needle forward in LA. So
I hear this word impact over and over again, and that really is powerful, because I think that's ultimately what we're about here. What is the impact that we can make? What is the legacy? I think we have time for one more question. So in closing, I want to ask for everyone on stage, entrepreneurship is not easy. What drives you to continue working on your business each day?
Again?
I mean, I think for all of us, it's all about the, like you mentioned, right, impact, right? We're positively impacting people's lives, right? At the end of the day, it's not about us; it's about our community, right? I think all of us here have this mind of creating LA, South Central Los Angeles specifically, to be the future tech or future entrepreneurship hub of this country, right? But also respecting, you know, the different walks of life, right? From a racial standpoint, we're just having the word respect there, right? And so for us, you know, with On The Go LA, like as Gabriel mentioned, we talk to many different people from different walks of life, right? And so that keeps me going. That keeps me going when I wake up. It's like, I can't wait to meet this person, right, at the truck commissary and so forth. And I think my fellow cohort members feel the same way with their respective industries. And so we're building this foundation for future generations of entrepreneurs in South LA and beyond to actually move forward. And I think, I also believe that's something that's more important than our actual impact itself as a company.
Yeah, I think for me, it's really kind of making a difference in the life of people that come from the same walks of life, right? Kind of from the same area, from South Central LA, and really kind of we're like I mentioned earlier, we're really trying to help them kind of make a difference in their own lives, right? And kind of the generations that follow them. So we find it super important to just be able to kind of provide access and really kind of provide that. Maybe the opportunity that they need, right, to take that next step that they maybe otherwise wouldn't have, right? So, just being able to make that difference in someone's life is actually really life-changing, so.
I think for us, it's more about change. When you've experienced the opposite, you've been in the spaces where you're the only one all the time, and you believe that it can be different. You now have the resources. We now have the resources to build our own different utopia. And in essence, we all know that we can't change everything going around in the world, but our community here, the ecosystem here, can be affected if we continue to do what we're doing. Our teams are beautifully diverse. The people that we work with are diverse as well. It comes from all types of places, all different races, all different regions. And just to see how much we work as a unit when you have such different experiences, the farther you go, I think that's really what drives all of us, is in order to show that this is possible to have a company like this. It is possible to accept change in this magnitude and understand that it will bring you way more return that you had in the different way. So for us, it's definitely just enacting change, impacting change, and showing people that change is actually progressive and good.
Yeah, so as an older founder here, for me, it's the thrill of building something that is ready to be disrupted, the thrill of being an outlier in many ways, of where, you are the last on a list that should be getting the capital, whether it's because you're a woman, an immigrant, a Latina, over 50, etc. And the opportunity to really open as many doors as, for me, as I personally can, for the next generation of founders and of leaders. So it's exhausting, especially for somebody over 50, to run a startup, to launch a startup, but it's also incredibly rewarding to be able, and a privilege to be able to spend your time building something for a community that is so deserving, that it's the new majority, no longer will be minorities very soon, and that you're able to give that back to the community. I think you heard from all of us how we are very much of the mindset. It's never, for us, it's never personal. It's never a one-to-one ROI. It's always one-to-many. We're always thinking about our families, neighbors, about our community. So everything that we build, we have that in mind. And just in closing, I think, we all also agree that our communities are not charity. I would go more than that. We are the biggest opportunity for any investor, for any foundation, and people need to have that front and center. And, we are here to build the future of this country and to continue to make it thrive.
I don't know any better line to end on. That was incredible. Thank you all so much for sharing your story. As you all have seen here today, and as I'm sure you all know, the 20 founders that are part of this are the strongest advocates to keep this going. You are the first 20, but you will not be the last. So we need you all to continue telling your stories about the Founders Fund so that we can bring on the next 20 and the next 20 and keep this moving. So thank you all for being here tonight. Thank you to our panelists for sharing your story. And I will turn it back over to, am I turning it over to Calvin or am I turning it over to Ricardo? I think Ricardo's coming up. Ricardo Vasquez, Mayor Garcetti's tech liaison. Thank you so much for being here.
All right, thanks, Jason. It's my honor to represent Mayor Garcetti tonight. Unfortunately, the mayor can't be here because of a family engagement that popped up kind of last minute. I've never presented a frame cert, and that's because those were only for the mayor. So, it's my pleasure if I could be joined with Cindy, Allison, Calvin, Mickey, and Celeste. So thank you for your work and for really showing a model that should be replicated across the country. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well, what a powerful conversation. And thank you, Ricardo. What a special honor from the city. Thank you so much for presenting that to us. Together we built amazing programs in partnership with the mayor's office that have built networks, relationships that really are advancing access to opportunity. And, as folks said, given the tremendous impact we've seen with this pilot cohort, we know this model works. Trusting entrepreneurs to use that much needed capital to advance their businesses and create opportunity in their communities. So that's why, some of you already know this, we have committed to continuing this effort in 2022 and 2023. We're going to expand eligibility this time to Black and Latinx or Latine founders all across LA County. So in the next 2 years, any founder across LA County can apply. And we hope to serve at least 40 more businesses like the ones you've met tonight. So to close out tonight's program, I'd like to invite one of our core supporters to say a few words about why they're involved. Let's welcome Charlie Wu, Managing Director and Vice Chairman, Middle Market Investment Banking Group at Wells Fargo. Welcome, Charlie.
Well, thank you so much, Calvin, and I really appreciate it. And I think for Calvin was the scripter, Justine was mine, and so I'm going to make her heart palpitate a little bit by going off script, because one of the things that she left out was that was all the work that she and Greg Shurkin did behind the scenes. They really are one, control the purse and really this initiative, but. It's really a privilege, and for me, especially having grown up my whole life in Los Angeles, to just see this effort and to see these businesses, and especially to be coming from the investment banking world where we're following companies like yours and hope to represent you one day when you're going public or selling or buying another company. But Wells Fargo really believes that the entrepreneurs and small businesses are the backbone of this community, as these businesses are really the ones that drive the innovation and create the jobs and really forge a path towards kind of generational wealth. We also recognize, however, that especially in times like this, that there are really challenges of especially diverse small businesses in these communities, which is why Wells Fargo is really proud to have given over $11 million since the beginning of the pandemic to thousands of small businesses right here in Los Angeles, with the expectation of doing even more. So really appreciate that. And we see the Founders Fund as playing a critical role in helping outstanding businesses, particularly those of Black and Latinx and Latine founders, get the access to the capital, whether that's low interest patient capital, investment capital, business loans, and then at some point so profitable that you don't need any of the above. But we love that we can play some small part in that. And we're excited to continue working with the Founders Fund and the incredible alumni here today that really it was a privilege to hear from. And are really grateful just to be a part of this and look forward to being a continued part of this going forward. So with that, I'd like to turn it back to the Annenberg tech team for some closing words.
Thank you. I can't get up there in heels. I'll have to go around. This is super fast. These are closing remarks, but there are a few people and entities that I want to thank. First of all, Wells Fargo. thank you so much for your support. And Greg Shurkin, you are amazing in the community and a great friend to the foundation and to the whole community. Thank you. As we continue this effort for the next 2 years, we're excited to welcome new partners. But I'd really like to recognize the few core partners, some that are here tonight. It wasn't just the Pledge LA community that pitched in on this effort, but it was the philanthropic community as well. So Annenberg did not do this alone at all. I want to recognize the Anthony and Jeannie Pritzker Foundation, Magic and Cookie Johnson, Best Buy, the Hilton Foundation, the Rose Hills Foundation, and the Weingart Foundation. Yay! Thank you. And if you'd like to talk to us about partnering for next year, let us know. And a special final thanks to you, all of you, our founders and our partners, for taking up this important work for our community. And with that, let's get back to enjoying each other's company and making connections and great conversations. So have a great night. Thank you.